A big hello to you and welcome to Afternoon Focus. I'm Julie Grant.
And I'm Alexa Liacco in for Rob Nelson, who is hopefully enjoying his paternity leave every moment of it.
Yes.
Thanks so much for joining us this Tuesday.
We want to kick off the day with some of the stories from the top of our feed. Here we go. You can call it a modern day version of Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus, or maybe even CSI North Pole.
Love that one.
Very inquisitive young lady from Cumberland, Rhode Island sent a letter to her police department. Look at this. She asked them to run a DNA test on some partially eaten cookies and carrots left out on December 24th in order to get some evidence that Santa was in fact at her house. So the department says while it is awaiting the test results, a person of interest, look at this, showed up at headquarters last night. They've got this photograph. We're going to keep you posted here on Afternoon Focus, everybody.
Well, that is certainly a good photo. Some possible suspects in the mix. I actually was trying to be a Santa sleuth myself as a kid. My sister and I, we left a camera out and we asked Santa to take a selfie. And unfortunately, he couldn't get the camera to work. There was some battery malfunction. I was heartbroken. We tried to stay up and set our alarm clocks to be able to wake up in the middle of the night.
Right.
But we never were able to meet him. So he still eludes us.
Right? You and your sister, Santa sleuths, you're in good company with that little sweetheart and her mission to get the DNA testing from the lab. You know,
Smart idea.
If they catch who in fact is Santa Claus, we're going to have to cover this on Court TV. I'm just saying, this could be a huge, huge case.
Lead story for the day.
Absolutely. Gavel to gavel coverage over there. Oh my goodness, gotta love that girl. Well, if there's a follow-up, you know, you're gonna see it here, folks. So speaking of the holidays, I'm sure everybody remembers that meltdown with Southwest, right? Maybe you were affected by it. Well, now Southwest employees who had to deal with some grumpy travelers are getting some gratitude pay.
Southwest employees who worked through that whole mess will get an undisclosed bonus in their checks. The airline canceled 17,000 flights the last week of 2022.
And we want to give a shout out to a Delta flight attendant. You're going to love this. Look at him. This is Floyd Dean Shannon, and a passenger on a recent flight with him going from Charlotte to New York took this photograph capturing this moment when he held the hand of a woman who was very nervous about flying. And this passenger says that he explained every sound and bump along the way to that passenger who was so upset. And, you know, kindness really costs nothing but is worth everything, right?
It really is, and you know, those are one of the many thankless jobs out there, and so it's nice that, you know, somebody snapped a picture of that so we can see, you know, all the little things that these flight attendants do that are not in their job description.
Yeah, just a really human moment, you know, because these are two strangers, right?
Yes.
Just together because of the flight that they're on. It's his job, and then, you know, maybe she's traveling for work, for pleasure, who knows? But then, you know, to see him literally holding her hand,
yes,
kind of like being an advocate for her, you know, throughout the flight, like, you're going to get through this. This is going to be okay.
You're gonna be okay.
This is just typical, you know, rough air. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, well,
really
and
cool.
Totally avoided a medical emergency, so she didn't have any anxiety or anything like that. So it's really sweet to see.
Bravo to that flight attendant. Well, our next story takes us to Detroit, where a group of young men are stitching together a future for themselves, one button, one seam, and one snap at a time.
Their work has them headed to New York City for Fashion Week next month, and our friend Kimberly Craig shows us how they got there.
Armand, Sean, and Trent are some of Detroit's youngest and brightest minds when it comes to creativity and fashion design. They're part of the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan's Fashion Industry Club. And while their work is impressive, they've also been working on garments that will be unveiled alongside their mentors in February for New York Fashion Week.
It's real exciting just thinking about it. And I feel like I'm just saying that now, but when I actually go to New York, it's going to actually hit me like, wow, I can't believe I'm actually in New York.
And I think I'll be a better person as far as artist and designer to learn more.
All 5 of these young men were part of our Fashion Industry Club program, which is the Boys and Girls Club's workforce program. Our whole passion is to make sure that we put youth on a path to be career, startup, and homeowner ready.
I'm not really good at expressing me overall, so I like to express myself through clothes, art.
The collaboration for Black Men in Fashion pairs our young rising stars in Detroit with mentors who are accomplished New York-based fashion designers like Omar Germain.
If I had had this opportunity in my late teens, I would have been, over the moon to just really be able to get a better understanding of what goes into actually making even just one garment, much less understanding how the industry as a whole operates.
The collaboration made possible by Tori Nichelle of Maison Black, an online retailer featuring Black designers.
I wouldn't be doing my job at this point in my career if I wasn't giving back or setting up the next generation and making sure that they have a clear path to blaze those trails, because it wasn't always that easy for my generation.
They're going to go to the garment district. They're going to have a chance to even visit some different museums to really, truly take on that experience. And the mentorship has been something these young designers will never forget.
Just to have that extra support to help you whenever you feel like you're stuck, it's good to know that you got that.
It's been great. Like, me and we have very transparent conversations.
It was inspiring. You can have someone to go to. You need like answers, or you just want to talk to them about the progress and everything, design, tips and everything like that.
Mentoring is so important, and you see the talent that can be then developed and then go head on and flourish and do big things in the end. So, kudos to the mentors and those mentees for being so committed to their craft, right? It is an art, fashion.
It really is, and sometimes people just need a chance or someone to say, I believe you, you can do this, and who knows, maybe we were looking at some of the designers of the future right there, and it's also really cool that they'll be able to get kind of a behind-the-scenes look of really what goes into making it to the runway. I mean, all of the logistics and the business sense and all of that they'll be able to soak up, invaluable.
Yeah, and this is a time for fashion. Those, who love it and adore it know that we just got through Paris Fashion Week. We're looking forward to New York Fashion Week coming up next month. And so, it's something that, from what I understand, it's an industry that you really have to work your way up and sort of earn your stripes, so to speak, and in order to get there and become recognized and become somebody who is, considered a designer, an actual, there are a lot of aspiring designers, but to then finally get that,
and to be
the props.
And to be able to start at such a young age, I mean, they're years ahead of so many people who, are making it in the industry today.
Definitely. Well, it is time, folks, to get your popcorn ready. We want to bring you a few quick stories that are just fun to know, the things you can kind of take to the water cooler today or share with your family and your friends, maybe your kiddos. We want to start by telling you that no matter how your day has gone or how you might be feeling right now, you are awesome.
We appreciate you. And we're sharing that special message today on National Compliment Day. This is the 25th anniversary of the day, dedicated to spreading positivity and creating connection. It was started by 2 women in New Hampshire.
This is easy. You can spread the love today, too, by giving those around you a compliment. And remember, sincerity is key. Compliments are so important, not just on today, being the day for them, but every day. If you can make somebody else feel good, do it. Take every opportunity to do that.
Well, I just think anytime that a random person has passed me by and given a random compliment, or, a boss or a colleague at work, I remember that for the whole day. It sticks with you. And so I try to throw out those compliments too, because we all need a little more kindness in the world.
Yes. And we want to wish a great big happy birthday today to a woman who was a hero to girls in the 80s. Mary Lou Retton is celebrating her 55th birthday today. She became America's sweetheart thanks to a performance during the 1984 Olympics, where she became the first American woman to win an all-around gymnastics gold medal. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, even at 4'9".
Yeah.
She made a big impact, and I feel like America loves gymnasts. I mean, you think Simone Biles, Shawn Johnson, they just capture our hearts because they defy physics and they're so fun to watch, and they bring such joy to the Olympics.
Yeah, they sure do. So talented. Gymnastics is my favorite thing to watch.
Same
the
here.
Floor exercises, is that your favorite too?
Yes.
Yeah, just incredible. I wonder if she still tumbles. Do you think Mary Lou Retton still goes into her living room and does,
She better, at least for her birthday, do at least
that.
one cartwheel.
Yeah.
We hope you're enjoying.
Oh, happy birthday, Mary Lou Retton. Well, we're going to squeeze in a break, but coming up, months after Hurricane Ian, a man goes above and beyond for his friend who lost so much.
He's played a major role, and I'm with my best friend. Life goes on, and we've enjoyed the heck out of it.
Welcome back. Check out this gorgeous sunset time lapse at West Palm Beach. It's been really nice and warm there lately. So to our friends in West Palm, we say thank you for watching Afternoon Focus, and we hope you're enjoying the beautiful weather.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I wish I was warm when I went outside.
Oh, today, yeah.
It's cold.
We are not headquartered in West Palm, but while our friends in Florida are thankfully enjoying the fabulous weather right now, we know that 4 months ago, how could we forget Hurricane Ian wreaking havoc across the state?
But during a time of crisis, heroes emerge, and Lydia Vasquez is introducing us to one of them. Meet magic maker Bud Dunklin.
He's been helping his friends of nearly 50 years get back on their feet.
They had a travel trailer, and I told them, just pull it into my lot here, and temporarily you can be able to stay as long as you need to until you get your house fixed up.
Johnny and Gina lost nearly everything after Hurricane Ian destroyed their forever home in Fort Myers.
We were flooded, and we had about 3 or 4 inches of water. The water became contaminated with mold, and I haven't been back since I left.
He's not turning back, but turning to a friend who he may bicker with over coffee.
You want some raw sugar?
I'm looking for that right now.
But is always there to help anyone in need.
He's the most altruistic man I've ever known. He charges us no rent to put this trailer here. He charges no rent for living in his house for 2 months. He's played a major role, and I'm with my best friend.
And while Johnny's home is no longer recognizable,
It was a mess. I went down there with him a few weeks after the hurricane, and it looked like a war zone. And believe me, I've been in one, so I know what it looks like.
their friendship of nearly 5 decades is.
Life goes on, and we've enjoyed the heck out of it. We're enjoying it. We get to see Buddy and Donna and socialize.
As for Buddy, giving back is something he says he'll never stop doing.
We feel that this is our ministry, not only to help friends and people like Johnny, but also to help the community.
Truly a magic maker he is. Bravo to him for being so giving.
We need more of those people.
Yeah, and for those, who may not have a real clear picture of just how bad that damage was, Alexa, you were there. I think
Yes.
it's important to tell our viewers. So Alexa came to us from the national team that we at Scripps. Scripps is our parent company. Scripps owns Court TV Network, where my full-time job is, and has launched this show that we're on here. And so you are now going to Scripps News to do
Yes.
more of that work. But you were on the ground. What was that like, seeing all that?
It was like nothing I'd ever seen before. I'm from California, so hurricanes are not my natural disaster that I'm familiar with, but to walk through a neighborhood was impossible. We had to ask someone to take us in their, ATV, and the water came up into the vehicle, and we luckily had waders on, but people couldn't even get to their homes. And like the story that we just saw, there was such incredible kindness. People who had nothing, we met families who their homes were absolutely destroyed, but their neighbors who they had never spoken to before were letting them live with them. They opened their door in the middle of the storm, took in families, and people were sharing their camping stoves because they had no power for weeks. So it was really incredible. It was really devastating to see that people had lost their lives and their homes and their everything. But it was also beautiful to see that, the thing that was pushing through it all was kindness.
Isn't that the truth? Like Mr. Rogers, we always quote his saying, look for those helpers.
Yes.
And you see such good in people,
Yes.
like the ones you're talking about. Alexa, thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being with us today here on Afternoon Focus. When we come back, we'll talk about the power of education with an academy that's actually saying goodbye to grades.
Take me there.
Hi, my name is Christina, and I am an English teacher and also a charcoal portrait artist. The traditional education it's really great, but I knew that online schooling was going to be the wave of the future. As a whole, the non-traditional students that I teach are so much more appreciative of the education because they have, for whatever reason in the past, been unsuccessful in getting their high school diploma. That makes my job really great, to know that I'm making a difference for them.
I think one of the things that Christina has done fabulously as an online instructor is finding different ways to communicate with our students. She really gets to know the learner and their specific needs and then meets them where they are.
I got into charcoal drawing just a few years ago. The first actual charcoal drawing I did was for my son for his wedding present. I drew him and his fiance. And I really started to love the charcoal. It's forgiving too because you can erase it. I understand the struggle because in the past I've worked with non-traditionals and I also worked with at-risk youth. And I understand that life can be so hard. And just for them to have somebody to listen to them, I think is important.
That's the truth. Welcome back to Afternoon Focus. Christina, who you just saw there, is one of many teachers making a difference for hundreds of students all year round. With today marking International Day of Education, we here on the show wanted to give Christina and all of you teachers watching right now a very special shout out for all that you do.
Truly special people and so needed, especially now in the teacher shortage, all of that.
Yeah.
We could not love our teachers more. They absolutely serve that purpose. And speaking of non-traditional education, imagine if teachers didn't have to give us grades when we were growing up. What a relief that would have been.
Yes, an academy outside of Boston is abandoning the grading system altogether. They're hoping it encourages students' creativity. Elizabeth Ruiz has their story.
10th grader Olive Beeland is spinning her passion into purpose.
This is a spinning wheel. It's a variant called the kick spindle. I've always been fascinated by historical practices and crafts.
Her creativity is encouraged at New England Innovation Academy, a private boarding school outside of Boston that has a unique approach to teaching students. There are no grades, only assessments to demonstrate whether students have mastered what they're learning.
Our founders fundamentally believed that our educational system was broken. It wasn't adequately preparing students for this rapidly changing world.
Tom Wolper is one of those founders and the head of the school. He says they focus on design, engineering, and business, translating projects into real-world solutions.
This year in Innovation Studio, we have our upper school students are looking to develop farm implements and to design products that will solve various challenges that farmers and gardeners actually experience.
The idea behind this school is part of a growing trend in the U.S. called competency-based learning. Instead of your typical A, B, C, or D, students are tracked based on their overall understanding.
There's surface, immersed, and deep. And then those are 1, 2, and 3. Deep means you're really fully understanding, you're putting your best self forward. Immersed is you're getting there, and surface, maybe you don't really understand.
Although the shift from the traditional school model to competency-based learning isn't always easy, it's possible even among public schools. Westminster Public School District in Colorado made the change in 2008.
The traditional system for many of our students who start from behind when they come to us was not serving them well.
Many students in the district come from low-income households or they are second-language learners. However, Superintendent Pamela Swanson says statewide testing after the pandemic shows they didn't fall behind.
We were only in a handful of districts across the state, even given challenging demographics, where we actually made gains instead of losing.
She says this system gives each student the opportunity to follow their passion.
Right now we're learning about the mechanics of the human body.
Their motivation to learn follows.
I've pursued so many different things at this school that I'm incredibly thankful for.
I feel like I want to be like an entrepreneur and like make my own company.
Thanks so much for being with us. So to round out International Day of Education today, check out this nutty professor from the University of Michigan.
Let me just check on my family first. See where are they? Mom, no, my baby. So stupid.
That
All right,
is
let's
a
get
cool
serious.
professor right there.
I love that. Sign me up for that class. That's so much fun. And you know those students will never forget that professor and that class. And hopefully they'll remember some of the material too, but that's just too much fun.
Exactly. I think that's the key, to remember the material. He's making the lesson memorable with the potato filter and all his baked potato babies who cook too long in the oven there.
R.I.P.
So cute. Thanks for
our
being with
show.
us today. See you tomorrow.